All right, guys, so we've got another good question from Instagram. Before I get into this question, I want to tell you guys, I've had like 6 of you now message me saying that you're realizing that for some reason you're unsubscribed from my channel all of a sudden. I don't know if it's just a glitch. I don't know if YouTube's being a little biatch and doesn't like my content and it's doing some mischievous stuff by unsubscribing people. But if you guys could take a second to make sure that you are subscribed, I would appreciate that a lot. Let's get into the question. It's a good one, and I think a lot of people are going to chime in on this in the comment section with some experience that they've had. So, young man, if you're listening to this, which I'm assuming you are, pay attention to the comments, and you can get some good info from them as well. He goes on to say, I've got a question about dating and politics. I've been talking to a girl at my school for a while now, and I really think that she's into me. I want to ask her out, but I'm wondering if it's even worth my time. I'm definitely more conservative leaning, and she's made several political remarks already that show me she's definitely left leaning. How do I navigate this if I plan to ask her out? I look forward to your video. Thank you in advance. So, women, in my opinion, by nature, are a little bit more left leaning, right? Liberal, left leaning, more nurturing and caring and all this stuff. And men, by nature, tend to be more conservative and traditional and, all that good stuff. But what we have today is unfortunately become a monster in division. The social media platforms, especially in mainstream media and what have you, they've done a very good job of causing so much division that you literally can't ignore it. You literally cannot ignore the division. So the short answer is going to be, I don't think it's going to work, bro. I don't think it's going to work. You guys got to remember something, man. In the last however many years with social media causing all this hype and chaos and division, these social media platforms, and mainstream media for that matter as well, they're in it to make money as well, whether you want to believe that or not. What drives human behavior more than anything? It's 2 things. It's anger and it's fear. And if you can combine the 2, you really got a recipe for profits. Social media platforms, they want engagement. They want eyeballs. They want you there getting mad, getting sad, getting afraid, getting whatever it takes to get you there. And in my opinion, I don't think these people care how much damage that they're causing in our society. And I'll go a step further and say it almost looks like they want to cause chaos and division and fear and anger and all of the negative stuff that comes along with the things you consume for the most part on social media, especially politically. There's something really strange that's happened now with the left. A lot of young women, they really are attached to the far left ideologies. And you particularly, I saw your Instagram, you are a young white guy. So as a white man especially, this stuff matters a lot. With the evil white man propaganda that you see endlessly, nonstop in our media today, everywhere. And I'll go as far as to say, this is a little bit vulgar, but with everything, you see all this weird, like, cuck shit with these weird mentally ill white guys that even comedians, inferior me jokes about everything in sports and all this bullshit propaganda that a lot of young men are buying into that bullshit too. A lot of young white men are being propagandized into feeling like they're the bad guys or like inferior. Like, when did white guys start saying these weird jokes about inferior genetics and dumb shit? Like, bro, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, that is so insane. Like, the vast majority of white guys have really good genetics for, like, even bodybuilding, really good genetics in every way. So this weird propaganda that simp white dudes are making jokes on their Instagram and stuff to try to get a laugh out of people, that self-deprecating humor has done a world of damage to us as well. Don't even get me started on that bullshit. That's another topic for another video. But nonetheless, you're seeing this snowball effect in every direction with the left. And let's be real, it's mainly against white men. Like, let's be very clear on that. And they've done a great job. They've done a very good job. From the tech world, social media, all of them, everybody has engaged in this war of, like, throughout history, you evil pieces of shit. Couldn't be further from the truth. I don't really care who that offends. If you don't like that, this ain't the channel for you, because I personally do not see white men as the bad guys in history. Couldn't be further from the truth. Hell to the no. But You're seeing this with women today, especially young women. They have bought this shit hook, line, and sinker. And they want you to capitulate to the bullshit. They want to take on this masculine role of a thought leader and a discussion leader. And they want you to be a subservient, abused little boy that takes his medicine and takes his punishment and submits to the propaganda. And if you don't do that, you're just going to be written off as a radical. That's just the world we live in today. And in my opinion, to make a long story maybe not short, it's not going to work, bro. A girl like this is only friends with benefits or a sex playmate. You're not going to work because on a daily basis, bro, everything she looks at when she opens up her phone, her feed will be curated to show her these things that piss her off and propagandize you as a bad guy and propagandize any other element of your conflicting political views. She unfortunately views the world in a way that you most likely don't view it. She sees good guys and bad guys in a way that you don't see it. That's just what it is. No matter who you want to agree with in that situation, that's what it is. So on a daily basis, like I was saying, she's going to see things and you're going to see things that you're either going to have to zip your mouth shut and live in some kind of weird secrecy oath where you don't talk, or you're going to butt heads daily. You're going to butt heads daily on these everyday controversial issues because the world we live in doesn't let it slip. They don't let it slide. They don't let it go. They know how much money they make. They know how much views they get when they talk about hot topic issues like this, like race and religion and financial this and financial that and all of it. The gender roles and, the bullshit studies on the gender pay gap, all of it, bro. Like, I argued with a woman recently that was actually supposedly relatively conservative about the gender pay gap. And I've looked into these studies. Like, I don't just watch a video and go, I've looked into the studies. I read the documents that they're citing in the studies. And in one particular study that I read talking about the gender pay gap, they took I think it was, I might be wrong, I'm paraphrasing here, but I think it was 1,500 to 2,000 men and women from some certain job place here in Washington, a certain company in Washington, a relatively big company. And they looked at the pay gaps. And I think it was 2,000 or 1,500 of each, men and women. And they just blatantly had this blanket statement of the men were making X amount more than the women. And she brought this to me you want to explain this to me? And I literally went into it and I'm like, yeah, gladly. They took these 1,500 or 2,000 men and women, and it was just a blanket statement. The men worked way more hours, and literally every single man in the study was there 25 to 50% longer at this company than all of the women. They didn't take that into effect. Not all, but I think it was around 70% of those men in that study were working massive overtime. Not one of the women in that study worked any overtime. And I'm like, let me re-break this down the right way. The women are making way more money. They're making way more money in that specific study. And she didn't know what to say about it. She took it like a champ and kind of laughed about it, but she was like, holy shit, I had no idea. So don't even get me started on those studies, making women angry, thinking they're being ripped off. Because as the old running joke goes, I'll tell you right now, as a business owner, if you could hire women to make 70% of the man's 100% or whatever, you'd have nothing but women in the workforce. All these greedy companies you're complaining about, why wouldn't they all just hire women? I digress. It's foolish at best, like most of the arguments on the left. They're not usually factual and logic based. They just want to tap into people's emotions. They just want to tap into anger. They want to tap into what's the word I'm looking for? You guys get what I'm saying, sensationalism, basically. They want to tap into sensationalism and anger, and it's just a scam. Not saying everybody in that field is a scam. I think there's people that are good-hearted and make some good arguments, but for the most part, the media companies and the people that are making big profits off of this content that people consume on the left, it's all a scam, bro. A lot of it is. Whether you want to agree with that or not, that's my take. So I'm rambling at this point. Young man, I don't think it's going to work. You guys are just going to butt heads too much on issues. And I would say be a man and call her out on it bluntly. I would say, hey, I would love to take you out sometime. I'd love to hang out sometime, but I'm curious your thoughts on our political views because I'm conservative leaning. Tell her that straight up. Be a man. Say, I'm conservative leaning. I don't align with any left leaning political views. What do you think of that? She might call you every name in the book, and then you got your answer. Would have never worked anyways. Maybe you guys will come to some agreement that you could give it a shot. Who am I to say it can't work? I'm sure it can, but it won't be easy. I think nip it in the bud, have the discussion right out in front right now, see what she says. Anyways, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down below. He will get some good info from the comments, I'm sure. And we'll talk again, guys. Until next time, God bless.